Good
And we're
evening,
live.
everybody. We're live. Welcome to Old Gray Bricks Messy Monday. Tonight is it's kind of a small mess because it's just the three of us, OGB members, and Chris is on vacation. He's on a beach, Jekyll Island.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he just doesn't have like a second house there, a second residence, because he's there, what, 4 or 5 times a year?
Yeah, he and his family always rent the same place and go hang out together and that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
in the chats, we've got Axel Plate, Gary Mullane, and Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Jeff, you should have an
Hello
invite.
from well you know where, from well you know where. Not sure I know where, but
I don't either, but Jeff does should have an email invite out there if he wants to hang out with us. So,
when are we going to get Gary Mullane on this show?
I don't know. That would be fun.
it would be fun.
Top of the evening to you.
So this evening's haul is pick 2 large pick-a-brick cups that I need to sort.
So Dana and I had the what is the term for when the 2 planets are in synchronicity or whatever? We had the cosmic alignment, and we both met the Lego store pick-a-brick wall this afternoon, and our dear friend Pink Wheels had cleared out all the large white plates, much to my chagrin, because I would have gotten another cup. But we both got some stuff. So I've got mine sorted and stacked already because I live a lot closer to the store. So I will flip my camera. And so this is what I brought home from my tall cup. So I got some of these stanchions, which I probably either am going to want to have even more of these or regret that I bought this many. It's either going to be one or the other. We'll see. And of course, I'm working on the teal Jetsons tower, and so I got a bunch more of the 1x2 in the dark turquoise, and they have these new plates in the medium nougat, I think it is. So it's a newish color, so I got a whole bunch of these plates if I ever want to do something in medium nougat. So I got some plates to work with, and they have these baby bows in light gray, which I know Dana probably needs like an entire tall cup of these, but for me, I don't use light gray that often. So
I have a full gallon bag of them.
And I got some 2x4 lime green plates, which seems like a weird thing that I would never use. But when I actually started building the Bob's Burgers, I discovered that lime green 2x plates are actually kind of rare. They're not in a ton of sets. Plates in general just don't show up in lime green that often. So I figured, what the heck, get some more of these. These 1x4s were in brown and black, and I'm not really sure if I even needed them, but I grabbed a couple just in case. And then there's that classic space blue, what is that, 1x8. I got a couple of these. I don't build in this color very often, but I thought these longer bricks typically get a little more expensive, so might as well grab a couple while they're on the wall. They're pretty cheap per brick. All right.
And,
But
and what Matthew didn't grab of those blue bricks, I grabbed the rest of them.
I think more importantly, it's Matthew's birthday.
It is.
And we should all say happy birthday to Matthew and tell us what Lego items you got for your birthday.
Well, hang on just a second. I have to...
He's going to do a reveal.
He's going to do it, yeah. He did get some cool stuff today, I think. A little dead air, but, it is what it is.
So did we know that Greece is definitely taking its toll, and I'm starting to get some more wrinkles. There's no more hair on top, but my teeth are still quite strong even at this elderly age. So, that's something I still got going for me. But I did get this awesome T-shirt: "Eat, Sleep, Build, Repeat." That was a Lego gift from my spouse. And I got this collapsible bag, which you can then do the drawstring. So this will come in really handy if I'm at a Lego convention and I'm buying, pick a brick off of somebody's sort, or if I get bricks through a part scrap, I can sort of dump them in there and keep them all together.
I really,
And then
I,
have
re-
lots
I,
of
I really hope that
stories
Chris
already,
joins the
but-
show like right now, like
Yeah.
Greetings.
just in the chat.
Greetings from the Saurian race. And then I got Thomas gave me this nice little storage unit, and I think the size of these is going to be pretty useful for Lego animals. So I'm going to try putting lions and tigers and bears, oh my, in there. And
Okay, it's getting really hot. That's going to be slipped on as the kids come in trick or treat later this month at our house, or in about a month at our house. I can pull it on and pull it off pretty quick, but it definitely gets too hot to wear continuously for a long period of time.
Yeah. So let's say hi to Jeff Snavely. Brom showed up as well. Brickham's Den and Yvonne V. Welcome to the chat, and thanks for joining us because it's I sent out probably 24 people, and it's just us regulars.
Maybe
Are there
maybe
that
they've
many-
got you on. You're hitting their spam folder. You never know.
I don't know.
They're all watching Monday Night Football. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. That just sounds sketchy. Just saying. Sounds sketchy.
Maybe I could keep the mask on if I poke some holes in the top to let the heat radiate.
Here's our newest member of OGB.
Ah, Cap Xavier.
Avast, mateys.
Yar, it's damp here.
Yo ho.
Is
There
it
you go.
a rainy damp or just a humid damp?
Rainy damp. It is pouring rain here.
Well, welcome.
Well, at least
What's
it's not
going
the
on,
Dust Bowl, so that's good.
This is true.
Got some ships behind you there. Oh, very nice.
Last week, I made 91 sales.
Wow, look at that.
That was more productive than my week.
That looks fantastic.
Sure. So there's the 64 gun ship of the line. That is the 74 gun ship of the line, as well as the Briggs. And up here we have the 44 gun frigate. And over here we have the two 36 gun frigates.
Wow, very cool.
So 91 sales.
That's a lot of sales.
A lot of sales.
So when I was a kid, we used to go to the county library, and one day I came across this book that had, like 2-3 pages on famous naval battles, and they had all the little maps with the little tiny ships, like lined up as they were. I loved this book, and I have since tried to find a used copy to buy. I can't figure out what book it was, but I loved it as a kid. It was fun to read. It was like, wow, these are like cool battles. They're like kind of like spaceships, but on the water. I don't know. That's how I thought about it.
Because actually, spaceships are sail ships in space.
Yes. So, true
Sometimes.
story. I was almost held back in school, which is kind of funny now that I'm a college professor. And the teacher, my parents got called in for a parent-teacher conference, and they said, the teacher said, he can do the work. He just isn't focused, So if we give him a sheet of math problems and put an egg timer down and say, you have 15 minutes to solve these math problems, he can solve them. No problem in 15 minutes. But if we give him an hour, he doesn't do it. He just turns his pencil into a rocket ship. Well, today I know that that's ADHD, and that's why I wasn't focused. But anyway, so I was almost held back, but my parents were like, well, let's give him, one more shot and see if, Well, the next year was 5th grade, and we studied world history. And our middle school textbook elementary school textbook was filled with these awesome pictures of like people in Greek battle masks, Spartan masks, and Egyptian pyramids and burning cities of Acadia. And I loved it. I was like, it's like science fiction, but the teacher says it really happened. All these people with like crazy, Medusa with her snake hair. I mean, this was fantastic. I mean, here I was, a big Star Wars fan.
Matthew, I'm pretty sure Medusa wasn't real.
Well, I know, but like she was in the textbook though, right? So I mean, it was like these Greek gods are pretty entertaining. You got to admit. So, anyways, that was a really long-winded way to say like I like history a lot, and I appreciate your effort to build these amazing replica ships.
Yeah, they look great.
I've got plans to build a 50-gun ship of the line, fourth-rate ship of the line, to go with the blue frigates. And then I do plan to build a first-rate 100-gun ship of the line.
That's a lot of guns.
That's a lot of guns. I have the basic plan for how I'm going to build it. I just didn't want to start before BrickCon and then not have it done in time for BrickCon, so I decided to save it for the next big event.
It's best to get done what you can get done, so you don't feel the pressure.
Exactly. At this point, I'm BrickCon's still 4 days away, and I just need to put the stuff in the car. I have nothing scrambling to finish. I don't know what to do with myself.
So I don't know.
Start something now.
I don't know if anybody cares, but the Bandmate Series 2 are gone. If anybody wanted any of those figures,
yeah,
second wave of video. Video is not popular at all, but the some of the figures are neat and that sort of thing. But if you're gonna buy any, you should probably buy it now because it's disappeared.
When you say gone, you mean like it's not on the Lego site or it's not at Walmart? Oh, wow! They really pulled it, huh?
Yeah, that's a tweet from somebody who does Lego sort of news breaks and stuff. So
I might need to hit my target again then, or Dana's target.
Just FYI, if any of you guys like those figures, because I really, I've bought a few of them because I really, I like the Metal Dragon, and I've played with.
Oh yeah, Metal Dragon's awesome.
No, a couple of the second wave is the second wave the one that has like the character with like the devil wings. Is that the second wave of band?
That's what he just literally just showed you.
That is the one. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have that one yet, and I want that one. So yeah, I'll probably go out and buy it.
This is one of the box sets as opposed to the band, the figure packs.
I think I have all the bandmates at this point. It's the figure packs I don't have.
Yeah, that tweet was saying that the figure packs have been canceled. So I don't know if any are at stores or.
No, they were supposed to be released on October 1st, the second series of bandmates. So
the
bandmates. Question of whether that means they're not coming at all or what?
Don't know. Kind of, they're yanking the plug on that.
Well, we knew we'd gotten an announcement earlier in the year that they said that they were gonna postpone any future release of video until they retooled the whole project. So I don't know. Maybe this is just additional to that.
And apparently, retooled means cancel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm kind of bummed because I think my son is probably one of the 3 kids in all of the world who actually liked Hidden Side, and we were never able to get the Castle set that was the very last thing released. That got a few of them made it onto the market and out in stores. Very few people got them, and we never saw one. So
I never saw the Castle or the fire truck, and I wanted both of those. Actually, I'd been picking up all of the sets because they just had good parts and good pieces, and they were fun. So I was sad to see that all went.
Yeah, the fire.
Again, I'm a sucker for lost causes because I'm a huge Nexonite fan. So.
Yeah, well, the fire truck actually made it out and was for sale for a while. I mean, I just ordered it off Amazon, but the Castle was like very, very few actually even made it out to any sort of.
I was hitting Walmarts, and I don't think I ever saw one on shelves.
I never. I even asked at North Point, and they never even got any. So I don't know when they went. Ooh,
That's
Dave
kinda like-
with a fire truck. Might have to make a work out a deal, Dave.
That's actually a big problem if you're in Star Wars action figure collector world. Oftentimes, the final wave of a line, for whatever reason, gets terrible distribution, and it never like eventually shows up. There's just like a little bit that straggles out, and then they just turn off the spigot or so for whatever reason. And so the final wave of a bunch of lines end up just being really difficult to find if you're a collector.
So Mark,
Hasbro
you
does
might
the same
find-
thing with Transformers too.
Do they? Okay.
Mark, you might find my pick a brick stuff entertaining. So I did get tons and tons of 1x8 blue bricks, which are going to get used in a
Space.
semi-space project. And then I had seen that because one of the Lego store employees, she posts on Instagram when they get stuff. I saw that they had gray 8x8 plates.
Wow.
So I got a whole bunch of those. It took me a while to stack all these so I could fit them in the cup to maximize. I
So
like
you
the
can
fact
you can make a whole lot of classic space cubicles. Your classic space office farm.
this farm thing.
Each one with a computer in it. You
Yep.
know.
And then for some reason, I felt like I needed a bag of sand green telescopes. Which until I think other than like the Statue of Liberty, I don't know how many other things this is coming. But so I had to grab them because I'm going to get ready to do the sand green habitat. So I figured if you're going to do something, do it with a bunch of these. And then I just grabbed some filler, some tan pieces because I like sand. And then I picked up where Matthew grabbed a whole bunch of these. I grabbed 4.
Sand gets everywhere.
It gets into everything.
It's coarse and it's rough.
It's coarse and it's rough.
So Brickenizer says Dana is a Nexonites fan. At least somebody out there is. Well, that's the other theme that my son also enjoyed. Was he really enjoyed Nexonites? We watched the cartoon. He played the game on his iPad. We've got a lot of the first 2 series worth of sets, and then the third wave of sets sort of came and went really fast, and I don't think we got any of those.
I think I got whatever third series that they did have, which was the bad guys were great. They kind of had almost a Blacktron throw feel to them, which were kind of cool. But the cartoon, though, I was really sad that they canceled the 3rd season of the cartoon because it was actually getting really good. I mean, they actually had an entire episode that was basically a riff of the Big Lebowski. I mean, the guy had, he would use these big rocks as like bowling balls. He was the dude. He even had the robe, the hair thing. And he had a little rabbit he named Bunny, and because that's Bunny Knudsen. And it's just, it was fantastic. I mean, short-lived, killed in its prime. So sad. So sad. Wow, this
Big
is kind of
question
a
is,
really
did they have the
calm-
nihilists?
Well, yeah, it's not very messy this season. No, it's kind of. Excuse me,
Chris
it's
goes
very-
on vacation.
It's very Monday.
It's very messy, very Monday. That and I did.
The
I had a big Lego day, but it wasn't anything I can really show because I was doing a stop motion or I guess you could call it stop motion, or maybe it was motion capture or slow mo. I don't know how they're gonna. I did a build for Bricker Builds, and they filmed it as I was building it, and the build was on a base plate, so that they had the cameras focused on it and taking a picture every so often, so that they can do a time lapse to show it being built. But I don't think they're revealing it for another 3 weeks, so I really can't show what it was until then. But I can say this though, it was a Pokemon. So Paul will be excited because there's more Pokemon coming.
Yes, you will.
But it was cool. The only drawback, though, was kind of funny, is that I'm building it on a base plate, and I'm standing at a table, so it's facing away from me, and the cameras are both taking pictures of as I'm building it. And so I'm standing behind it. And yes, Matthew mentioned earlier that I said I was standing behind this thing as I was building it, whatever connotations that could entail. But I've never went around to the front of the table to see what the front of it looked like. I'm just building it and going up layer by layer and adding things to it. And I got to about where I was about, I don't know, about 3/4 of the way done. And I stopped and I went, you know what? I should probably walk around the table just to see if everything looks right. And sure enough, about a third of the way down in the sculpture, there was two pieces or two sections that I completely like reversed or had a couple bricks out too far where they were supposed to be. So I was like, oh. So I would have had the whole thing done in 4 hours, and I got done in 4.5 hours because I had to go through and take and stretch things apart and shimmy things around to get the pieces all fit back together. It was a little stressful. But I got paid for doing it, so at least that was fun.
Are you allowed to talk about the smashing too, or is that off topic?
I think I can talk about that. Yeah. So recently they commissioned a couple of people to build some Captain America shields. And what they did is they hired a Captain America cosplayer to be filmed, and they have him throwing the shields at a wall and watching the shields explode as they hit the wall. For some reason, there are people who like this kind of entertainment, and they got lots of requests. So they're like, all right, we'll do it.
Some men just want to see the world burn.
They do. So, and then they had 4 shields, and 3 of them they threw at the wall. And the 4th one, what they did is they took one of the Mjolnirs and they had him smash one of the shields with the hammer and watch the hammer just explode and the shield buckle a little bit. It's going to look cool once the videos are done. I got to see a sneak peek of it. It's going to look really cool.
Well, apparently Lego Masters also thinks Americans are really interested in this, so maybe they're onto something.
So, Dana, it's Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. So how?
Molière was a French playwright.
So are you saying that there's a vowel between the M and the J?
He should know.
Is there a vowel between the M and the J?
No, but the J,
M and a J next to each other makes that sound.
So what does that sound again?
It's Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
There's an N. You're only pronouncing the ol and the near, really, and the first part is just kind of a meh.
Meh.
We are the hammers that say.
Or you could be like Darcy in the movie and just call it Meh.
Meh. Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have been watching What If, but this last week's episode of What If was my favorite episode so far.
Funny.
It was pretty fun.
I think I watched here. I might be one behind. Which one was this one?
This one was it was Thor centric, and I think everybody was voiced. Everybody but Captain Marvel was voiced by their MCU actor, which was kind of cool.
It was.
I don't know what that one yet. So
I don't know what Brie Larson was doing. She couldn't.
I shall have something to watch during dinner.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's very funny. It had a very Thor Ragnarok tongue-in-cheek fun to it. So
yeah,
definitely.
At our house, Thomas said this had to be directed by T, but it wasn't. T-Tuck just sense of humor, mischievousness, playfulness. And it felt like maybe wrote the script for it or something if he didn't produce it because somebody else produced it.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was very much a lighthearted episode kind of thing.
Yeah. But Darcy was in it. Made me think about it because Darcy's in it again. And
yeah.
And Howard the Duck.
Just do you know who Howard the Duck's voice was? What voice actor that was?
I did not look in the credits.
He showed up in the opening credits, and I'm like,
"Oh, Jason Alexander."
No. Seth Green was Howard.
Oh, you're right.
I approve of this. On principle.
Yeah, Seth Green's done his voice in other things as well.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That sure was very lighthearted until the very end, and then it was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, that would be cool. Let's see that." But no, they've been
Let's
doing
not
it.
do spoilers because, or
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving spoilers. I was going to say that they've been doing this at the end of every episode. They give you this. Okay, we've told you this part of the story, but here's where the rest of the story could go, but we're not going to tell you that story.
well, the second half of the season is supposed to pick up some of these threads and do
That
more.
would be interesting.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing or where they're going, but supposedly the only thing I have watched is the little trailer thing they made for the second half of the season.
Okay.
Some of these characters are doing more things, and other than that, I have not read any spoilers or looked up any spoilers or any of that. So
Yeah, I mean, because the fact that the zombie one had a, hey, there's more to this story. The end of the
Mark
end
really
of,
wants to have more zombie Avengers.
Yeah, well, no, even the end of the T'Challa as Star-Lord, you got Ego and Peter Quill. That there was going to be more of a story, and then so everything always had like this little bit, and it's like, hey, this is kind of cool. The Gamora story, the Gamora minifigure story hasn't happened yet, or I don't think so. I mean, even though she showed up in I think she was in this last episode as like a standalone character, like just because all the Guardians were in like the background of this one. So she might have been in it, but I don't think it was enough to say, hey, we're making a Gamora figure. So hopefully there will be a Gamora Thanos type episode. Time will tell. Because that's a really cool figure.
You just can't get enough of Thanos. I know.
I love that they had him in the T'Challa as Star-Lord, and it was funny. And then even in this episode, there was a little bits of nods to the Guardians and everything, and loosely related to Asgard and whatnot. Good stuff. Good stuff. I hope they do more of the Marvels minifigures, and if they keep doing this with Disney Plus, and that kind of gives them the reason to do more collectible minifigures for Marvel, I think it'd be cool. I guess maybe they just didn't feel like there was enough of a storyline for them to do what if sets, so it was easy for them to do what if minifigures, and I'm cool with that if they want to do that,
Especially with their one-off episodes.
Yeah.
It's I can't imagine selling a ton of what if sets if there's one 22-minute 30-minute episode.
yeah, but at the same time,
it's the two what if sets are basically the armors, the Hydra Smasher and the Iron Man that we have not seen yet. So
right, which I'm looking forward to that episode as well, because I think that mech set is really cool, so I want to see the episode it comes from. But there was somebody who did a fan mock-up set of WandaVision, and they even had it where like half of the set was in color and half of the set was in sepia vision, and that you would have gotten different figures in different color schemes, and I was like, that would have been awesome. And unfortunately it was a fan-made set, so but that would have been cool.
But that series had whatever it was, 8-10 episodes, where you could imagine them building a set around a series that had that many episodes. So
yeah, I mean, if they made a set for Ant-Man and it was one set for that movie, we could get one set for an 8-hour or 8-episode TV series. That would be
and the same thing really for the Loki series. I would have probably bought a set from. I love that series.
Absolutely. I want a what's his what Luke
TVA.
Wilson or
yeah.
What,
The
Luke Wilson figure
office set or something with and
a drawer that has Infinity Gems in it or something like that. That'd be fun.
I mean, they could have made just a plain old building set, and it could have been the TVA office headquarters, and I would have bought it.
Yeah. Now granted, I don't know if it's necessarily because of the fact that it was filmed here in Atlanta and that the Marriott is basically the movie. I mean, as far as the TVA goes, but I mean, from just looking at the pictures from Dragon Con, people just ate it up. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the Marriott hotel staff were all wearing either jackets or T-shirts that were TVA. So
That's
they were
awesome.
literally just, jumping in with everybody at the convention saying, yes, we all know that the TVA was here, and, we're egging it on even more, which is just awesome. So I'm really hoping we get to see more of a season 2 and get to have more fun with that. I'm hoping. Time will tell.
So in the Lego store today, Danny and I were talking about what sets are going to come up, and the Eternals are coming up. And I have to confess that I was a heavy comic book reader as a teenager in the 1980s. I have no idea who the Eternals are, and I have no idea anything. And truthfully, I knew nothing about Guardians of the Galaxy because that really kind of came along, I think, after I'd stopped reading comics. Yeah. So on the one hand, and the same thing with Shang-Chi, I had no idea what that's about. But I look forward to walking into the theater and just seeing whatever they're going to do with the Eternals. I mean, the Guardians turned out to be pretty fantastic, entertaining movies.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with Shang-Chi is that, it's gotten such amazing reviews. I haven't heard anybody complain about anything to do with it. Even the jump the shark scene, everybody still was clamoring about it. And Matthew and I were talking about this. I think those are going to be some sets, because there's only 2 sets. There's the dragon and the motorcycle, or the motorcycle chase or car chase. I bet you those 2 sets are going to be sets that people are going to be looking for, when they're gone, and be like, how did I miss these? I think those are going to be 2 sets that people are clamoring for later on.
The dragons are really actually very good pieces in that set, and pretty cool,
Because I think about the first Ant-Man movie set that came out that was, it was one set, and I think it hit the stores and the shelves, and then the movie came out, and then nobody even thought about it, and then that set went like crazy, skyrocket on the second market because nobody bought it the first time when it came, until later. So
I wonder too if that's ever going to happen with that. I think it was a Target exclusive with the first Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
And that set was kicking around forever. It seemed to me like it wasn't selling well, but personally, I'm a huge fan of Benedict Cumberbatch's version of Doctor Strange. I thoroughly enjoyed the first movie. I am really looking forward to seeing him in some more films. I think he has a presence that he brings to the character that's awesome.
All right, so Jeff, Big Screen Bird, sup nerds, but Jeff has made a very good comment that it's servants of the Celestials, because this kind of comes back, and Jeff, chime in with me on here, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the guards in Thor Ragnarok looked more like what I remember the Celestials to look like, which were giant, big, huge, mech warrior type things. That they kind of alluded to in the first Guardians movie, that's where one of the soul gems was, or something like that.
Well, the Nowhere is the head of a Celestial floating in space.
Correct. That too is part of it. But they also referenced that like one of the Celestials, or the Celestials, held on to the soul or the Infinity Gems at one point in time, or stuff like that. So yeah. I'm curious to see how they're going to do this whole thing, because I think they're not the Celestials, or it's going to be weird.
What's the difference between a Celestial and an Eternal?
They made it weird. So
I don't know anything about this line. So what's the difference between Eternals and Celestials?
The Eternals are servants of the Celestials.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of thing. But they've been tweaking things, because like even in Celestials were gods, Eternals were the angels. There we go. That's what I needed to hear. But Marvel has been tweaking things because of who owns what rights to what things. Because like when they did the Inhumanoids, they made it all being this kind of weird Kree hybrid offshoot stuff, which is not it. They were mutants, basically, but they couldn't use mutants because mutants were owned by Fox, and that has to do with the whole X-Men line, stuff like that. The
Inhumans.
Yeah. And then, I know, my Midwestern accent is causing you problems again.
No. The Inhumanoids was a crappy cartoon from the 80s.
Oh, you're right.
Underground Monsters.
I was driving down Whacker and I saw some Inhumans.
No. That wasn't an accent thing. That was like
That was me literally using the wrong word. You are correct, and I forgot because you're right. There are Inhumanoids versus Inhumans.
That was like a Cthulhu monster things underground and all this stuff from the 80s.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, because they
And of course-
lost the rights
of course,
to the thing,
Jeff loves it, of course. He loved that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole thing. I mean, and you would think that now that Fox is, didn't they just decide, or no, it was Disney decided, oh, we're just going to buy Sony so we can get the rights back to all this kind of stuff or whatever.
Well, I really want to see Fantastic Four reintegrated into the MCU because
But if they're gonna do it, they got to do it right, and they can't pussify or get us weird Doctor Doom. You got to give us a good Doctor Doom, and then if you're gonna do Galactus, you better do him right, and you better do Norrin Rad some justice and make that correct. And if you're gonna go out and do this whole celestial spacefaring thing, that's where Norrin Rad's got to come into play, and we should have a really good Silver Surfer movie. So that's my 2 cents.
That's your wish list.
That is my wish list. I was all excited when we're getting Fantastic Four and it's going to have the Silver Surfer, and I was like, this is not right. Yes.
I was a big fan of the comic. I mean, I read Fantastic Four was one of my regular reads, late 80s, mid to late 80s. I really enjoyed the artist at that point in time, whose name I can't remember at all, but I liked the way the comic was written. I liked the way the comic was drawn. So I'm kind of disappointed that, MCU's become this big deal, and yet Fantastic Four has not been a part of it. I was also a big Iron Man fan, so I was very happy to see that get incorporated, but the lack of Fantastic Four and the X-Men existing off on their own side.
But there is going to be Fantastic Four. You know that, right?
Yeah, I've heard that that's going to happen. So.
Well,
I mean, that was actually in their promo reel that they did a while back for the next phase. The end of that promo reel ended with 4. Like it was, they pretty much waved the big flag saying, "Yes, we're going to do it."
Okay. I did not see that, so that is good to know.
But I want it tomorrow.
I know. But yeah. Watch that Disney promo reel where they're hyping the next phase of Marvel stuff because they show you clips for little bits and pieces of like what the next movies are going to be, like Doctor Strange and this and that and the other. They showed the logos, and the very last thing they show is a 4.
Okay.
So
That's good to know. I like it. Give me more.
What's the status of X-Men? Is that ever going to come back into the fold, or is that still going to be?
I don't think that they've said anything about X-Men and stuff. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah. And then
Because in the Deadpool, you've got Colossus and Negasonic, which are obviously X-Men. So I don't know how they can how that works. Like, how do those two X-Men characters end up in Deadpool? I don't know. But
well, that's because that's all they could afford to get licensing for.
Yeah, they literally made that joke in the movie. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford any more X-Men.
Yeah,
that was literally why.
And actually, Negasonic Teenage Warhead isn't an actual character. They made her up for the movie, but she's loosely named after an actual X-Men character, but she's not that character, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and the they had a visual gag in Deadpool 2 where he's wandering around in the mansion and he goes past a doorway and all the X-Men are in a room and they close the door. Like, it's one of my favorite little gags that they put in there.
I so wish that they. I mean, I guess I'm so glad that they were able to finally make that movie and then make a sequel, and then we are going to get a third of it. Okay, so she's based on Cannonball, but the New Mutants. They were one of my first loves, and I still haven't watched the New Mutant movie, which I need to watch. I still need to watch that.
You probably don't need to.
Well, no, I hear that it's not as bad as what people say it was. So, and as a New Mutants fan, maybe I'll like it more. I don't know. it was kind of a kind of a toss up of a teenage, pre-adolescent teenage crush between Kitty Pryde and Iliana Rasputin. That was yeah.
But in weird news, I'm super hyped because Dana texted me the Cowboy Bebop trailer promo thing, and I'm hype about that. And I'm also hype about the Sandman teaser.
Yes, both of those are big nerd news for sure. I even actually last night started rewatching the original Cowboy Bebop series on my laptop as I was sorting some parts. So.
With all the obscure comic things that are actually getting made, I'm starting to kindle this tiny little bit of flicker that they'll make a Micronauts, but they probably won't. But that Micronauts and ROM would just totally cause me to fangirl out like crazy. But that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Or Dazzler. No, I'm kidding.
You never know. See, the thing that was the cool thing about, basically the Netflix was Marvel Knights. It was kind of like taking that. So you got all of these, Daredevil being Daredevil and Punisher being Punisher, but you got to throw in some B-list tier characters and villains. And that's where I think we would have gotten, a Dazzler or something like that. I was always holding out to get like a Long Shot reference or something like that, or bring in Mojo and do X-Men babies or something like that. Those kinds of fun things. Or probably one of my favorite annuals was an X-Men annual and a New Mutants annual where they go to Asgard or New York gets caught in a bubble. Loki turns New York into a medieval times world, and all the superheroes are in this medieval garb, and it was just freaking awesome. I love that one.
Does sound like something Loki would do.
Yes, you would totally enjoy it. And yes, Long Shot.
But hey, what the world really needs is another Fast and Furious remake. That's really what the world needs.
Yes. What are we up to? 27, 38?
All the way to the bank, man. They'll keep making them as long as people keep going to see them.
You're right. We should have a cordon that prevents people from entering the theater.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of them. They're okay. They're entertaining, but I don't necessarily think it's something to keep pumping them out for. I don't know.
You know what? When they stop making money, they'll stop making those movies.
So what is it? Is it Gearheads? Is that what draws it in for?
I think it's honestly kind of the sort of like
chesty women, fast cars demographic.
It's the adolescent male market of like cool cars and hot women and explosions. Like, you put it in a blender and there you go. You make 15 of those movies.
It's true. What was Brooke and
the other thing about those, I actually only saw the very first Fast and Furious movie. I'm happy to say, but if there's no explicit sex, they can show that in the Middle East and China markets much easier. This is the other thing. There's global markets, and I interviewed for a job in Doha, Qatar in 2011, and they told me you can go to the theater, but any film you see in a theater will have any hand-holding or kissing scenes or sex completely cut out of the movie. Like, you just can't watch it in Doha. It'll be cut out. So hopefully it's not integral to the plot. But so for places in the Middle East and even Indian films, Bollywood films, up until very recently, the love interest never touched hands. They would dance right next to each other, but they would never touch hands or kiss. And so this is a big deal in Asia, not just Middle East, but also China and also India.
How do they have such a huge population?
Well, this is part of their
behind the veil. It's all behind the veil.
If you don't romanticize touching, people might stop touching. It's not going to work, but it's probably their idea.
Well, it hasn't been working out so far, has it?
No, it is not.
Well, the real secret is that there's not enough digital entertainment to distract them. So, you're home. You're not home alone. You're home with your spouse, and what else are you going to do, right?
Well, that's usually why when there's blackouts, wide power surge blackouts in the United States, 9 months later, there's a serious rise in birth rate.
Do you know what's the biggest thing that contributed to shrinking family size in Brazil? Soap operas, where it was too complicated to have 11 children. So all of the leading female characters only had 2, 3, 4 children in the Brazilian soap operas, and family size dropped dramatically when soap operas only had a couple of children.
Because that's who they idolized after, and therefore they were like, oh no, if she's only got 2 kids, why do I need to have more than that?
And the generation that started getting televisions in their home thought of that as the ideal family size. And suddenly we went from 8 children to 4.
Yeah. I was going to say, that would have to be, I mean, that's like watching Blazing Saddles on TBS. It's like 30 seconds long because they cut everything out.
I mean,
or watching Departed, if they took out all the foul language.
Star Wars
the
episode
opening
2,
credit and then the ending credit.
Star Wars episode 2 is much better if you see it in Saudi Arabia, because you got to cut out all the flirtation scenes that are terrible and awkward.
So they aren't aware of the the whole meme about sand being rough and all that.
Which is kind of hilarious when you think
about
how
the
sand they is.
But, just that's just a funny idea to me that the
yeah, they wouldn't have thought of it as being awkward at all. They're like, this is absolutely correct. Yes, it is.
It's everywhere.
This man understands.
There's no
He's a hero.
connotation to that whatsoever.
He's a hero.
Poor Anakin.
this Skywalker man is correct. He's a wise man.
When I was interviewing for this job, they were like, well, if there's a major Hollywood release, you can go to the theater, but you're going to miss out on significant chunks of the movie. And I was like, well, what do people do? And they said, oh, well, you can use the internet through the school library, and you can watch all the filthy things that you can get through the internet that way. They're like, you can have a Netflix service and it shows up as being in Texas. So whatever they show in Texas, you can get through the school website.
Well, that's the beauty of private VPNs. You can pretend you're in anywhere in the world, Yeah. But did you know this? Since we've gone completely messy, geeking out. Monday
it's messy.
Here,
we've gotten messy.
It's very geeky Monday.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that there was this service until I was talking to a family friend. And he was talking about that he was they have some service that they have set up on their iPads or their home TV system or whatever. And I think it's called, I forget the name of it. I wish Chris was here because I'm probably sure he's heard of it. But it's basically a censoring software that it runs your movies and your TV through the software first. And it cuts and edits or trims down movies so that it removes all violence or negativity or anyway, so that when your kids are watching it, they're not watching something that you don't want them exposed to. And I was
Orwellian, but
I was appalled. I'm like, because he was talking about the fact that he was watching Jaws, and it was like all of a sudden you see them on the boat, and then there were the credits. And I'm like, what?
What I want to see is take something like Sesame Street from the 80s and put it through that and see what it censors.
Right, exactly.
Does Bugs Bunny still snort cocaine in this when this filter's on?
Yeah, exactly. Like old Looney Tunes would just get completely destroyed. We can't show cruelty to animals, so no more Wile E. Coyote whatsoever.
I don't know. I get trying to keep children from not seeing certain things until they're old enough to understand, but I don't know. I don't know.
Let me tell you, as someone who went to a conservative evangelical school, that what happens when you put the lid on the boiling cauldron is that as soon as they get old enough, they move away, and that lid comes off, they have to explore it all.
Exactly.
You're just pushing out the date when they explore it.
Yeah. If it's going to corrupt them, it's going to corrupt them. It's just, you're just extending the time period. I don't know.
So I just wanted to draw attention to the thoughtfulness that my son put into this zombie.
Yeah.
he turned the hands so that the zombie is walking
Oh,
at like he actually
The way
thought
he's
about.
supposed to. Yes.
Yeah, he thought about the hand position for the zombie.
That's perfect. That's the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be.
he's got a future at designing minifigs.
All we want to do is eat your brains.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Is Paul reaching the zombie kick soon?
Kind. He has watched that episode of What If twice, and
Uh-oh.
this weekend he requested that I play the song "Re Your Brains," the Jonathan Colton song I was singing. So, have you heard that song, Matthew? It's great.
I don't think so.
The song, it's called "Re Your Brains," and the whole song is written like an office worker who is talking to another office worker about how he's a zombie now, and you need to open this door so that we can eat your brains. And the lyrics are something like, "We've come to an impasse, so we'll table the discussion for now, but all we want to do is eat your brains." You know. So you have to listen to the song. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It sounds very much like a Bob's Burger song. Bob's Burger often ends episodes with a song that's related to the episode, and there's actually an album that you can get. And some of the songs are just freaking hilarious. Like there's the diarrhea song, diarrhea.
That was a song
there's
we
the
sang
Gravy
in
Boat
the,
song for Thanksgiving episode.
actually that diarrhea song was a song we sang in the playground when in the late 70s, early 80s. So they just
Is
were
it really?
rehashing it.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
it has a history.
Diarrhea. I mean, I can't remember the words off the top of my head, but no, there was.
I think it's kind of funny, but it's really soft and runny. Diarrhea.
Yes. That's
It
Everybody,
actually does sound familiar now.
yeah.
everybody knew that. That was ubiquitous. It didn't matter
I
where
didn't
you.
know that was. I was a sheltered kid, apparently.
Well, that's one of those things that you didn't have to necessarily this was the age before the internet, but those things all came out. I mean, you found out about those things. You didn't have to have the internet to learn about something.
You found it from your cousin, sister's brother, aunt.
Yeah. Well, like the whole thing of blowing on the Atari cartridges before you put them in. It wasn't published in a magazine or anything like that. It just made through the grapevine. And I mean,
that's how we know that Mikey died from eating pop rock.
exactly. Or that the kid got the rocket from the Boba Fett stuck in his throat, and that's why we couldn't have it. So we can't have nice
gospel.
things.
Gospel.
So
Who got a gerbil caught up their butt?
I
Do you
Stop it.
remember?
Richard Gere.
just wanted to tell Jeff yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and Jeff,
Jonathan Colton also wrote Code Monkey.
Jeff, I didn't read any of the Marvel Zombie stuff either. I think it was actually kind of. I'm not a fan either. But evidently, Small Paul's going to be wanting to read it. So who knows?
I don't know. He just generally likes zombies. But yeah, I was not a fan of that stuff either.
I don't like zombies.
It was the most boring What If episode.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Although both Matthew and I share that our significant others are huge horror fans, so I've had to sit through some things that I just no.
This is why I go play hockey, and then he can watch the horror movies while I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to tell Jeff, since he said that he thinks he saw Jonathan Colton live. I saw Jonathan Colton open for They Might Be Giants at two different concerts, like one year after another. And they were both fantastic concerts, and it was super fun all the way through. And yeah, it was really, really fun. He's great in concert. He's really fun, engages with the audience, and just
A good opener for They Might Be Giants then.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That would be a fantastic night in general.
Yep. Really fun. Both of those concerts were great fun.
Oh, look, it's a Zoom sighting.
Look, Chris decided to join us. It's too bad he didn't join us earlier for all of the
You're on
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, Jack, Chris, you may or may not want to go back and rewatch this episode. Just saying.
It wasn't that bad. It was just really weird.
Especially when we talk about the diarrhea song.
We did bring up the diarrhea. Actually, I want to Google that because I know my wife probably knows the words by heart. I wouldn't be surprised.
The lyrics I think got made up by whoever was singing the thing. That was part of the song, is making up your own lyrics.
It was like, running down.
Homeric epics got made. Everybody just wrote their own extra verse or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. I mean, is you got things going on, lyrics, originals, and variations. The Diarrhea song. Here we go. When you're, because it was a baseball theme. When you're sliding into first and your pants begin to burst, that's diarrhea. Diarrhea.
Oh yeah.
When you're sliding into two and your pants are filled with goo, that's diarrhea. Diarrhea. When you're sliding into third and you feel a greasy turd, that's diarrhea. Diarrhea. When you're sliding into home and your pants are filled with foam, that's diarrhea. Diarrhea. You're getting in a state because you've left it very late. Diarrhea. Diarrhea. I don't know about that one. It comes out your bum like a bullet from a gun. Diarrhea. Diarrhea. Runs down your leg like a scrambled egg. Diarrhea. Diarrhea. It's not very funny, but it's very hot and runny. Diarrhea.
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 That's the one that's on the Bob's Burgers.
Oh, it goes on for another, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 verses.
Truly epic songwriting.
It's
awesome. I do recall the baseball oriented ones being those I remember from my school days. Although I haven't heard those since I was probably in the 3rd grade. But thank you, Dan.
We need to teach
You're
Paul
welcome.
all
You're
of
welcome.
the words.
By the way, I will text that to Small Paul.
Yeah.
When he goes to school, like right when he's like getting on the bus, like he needs to get it at that point so he can like tell everybody at school.
He does not have a phone.
I will send him a letter.
We'll have
loves
this
to get
big
mail.
by the bus stop. Here, read this when you get on the bus and read it out loud.
Yeah, he was asking me why he doesn't have a phone the other day because we, I got a new phone, and he's like, "Why don't I have a phone?" I said, "Because you were either with me or your mother, and
you
both
don't
of
need
us
a
have
phone.
phones. Therefore, you do not need a phone."
You have a video game system. You don't need a phone.
He has
Who are you
multiple.
gonna call? Who are you gonna call?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you going to do with a phone? He's like, I'll talk to my friends. And I'm like, well, you can talk to them at school.
You would have to have
You'll do what I did and talk to him in school.
Yeah, there's a pretty good Jim Brewer, the comedian, does a pretty good bit about how he's the uncool dad who won't buy his daughter a phone. And I think in his story, I think his daughter's like 13 or something, and he still won't get her a phone. And many of these reasons that I just gave are the same ones that he talks about. Like, you're either at home or you're at school. You don't need a phone.
Exactly.
And, but all my friends have phones. What if I need a ride home? He's like, well, then borrow your friend's phone and give me a call.
And I guess we do need to apologize to Dave. Yes, this has been a very lack of Lego stream for sure. But you get what you get.
We did talk about.
I present to you a slice of first-rate ship of the line.
There you go.
There it is.
Now we're back to
It
Lego.
looks like a deep dish slice there.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
we brought it all the way around to Lego again, but we are rolling up on 9 o'clock. Captain Xavier, when I click the button to stop the broadcast, don't immediately close the window.
That's what you think.
We have a little post-show chat. You can engage in some post-show chat.
What?
We reveal the secret handshakes.
That's right.
Yes. We will teach you the wisdom of never trust a fart.
That's right.
Well, that was Chris's. There we go. Yeah.
Chris's comment from yes. And also things you tell your kid that you get a note about later from the teacher.
Yes. Arg! It's driving me nuts.
It's probably a good thing I don't have offspring. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I guarantee you I would be on speed dial to school board or something. I am.
Yeah, I more or less raised my youngest sister, and that pretty much proved I shouldn't have kids.
Well,
I'm so proud of her.
My son dropped the F-bomb on his preschool teacher when he was 4. So that was it was fun trying not to laugh when I was told.
What did he use it correctly? Is the real question.
Yes.
Well, there
yes.
you are then.
It was used correctly and everything. It was a proud moment. But
And you pointed that out to the teacher, like it's idiomatic English. He's learning.
But it is now officially 9:00. I'm not sure who's following us online tonight. I'm sure some of you guys know who's got shows. Stay right there, you.
What?
But anyway, as Chris would say, be good to your neighbors and be kind to everybody and your friends, and wear your mask and get your shots and take care of each other and
build something cool.
build something.
Look out for your alien friends.
And watch out for that guy. But
That's not the mask that's not the mask we're recommending you wear, by the way.
no, not that one. But everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you on Thursday. So,
We'll
guys,
actually have an actual topic that we will discuss.
yes, there will be a topic on Thursday.